Ladies, gentlemen, and you beautiful in-betweens, hello and welcome back to Satisfactory. I'm Calmputer, and last episode we turned this thing on and there were issues, plenty of issues, but it's working, at least I think it is. Also, let's start running. Oh. We're getting the crude oil in here, and... Wait, what? Really? Have they messed with the controls again? Yeah, that one's not changed. Very odd. Anyway, that should be... Never mind. Yeah, that's what I thought. Why do developers insist on always enabling motion blur? It looks hideous. But anyway, let's hope that's not a problem anymore. Yes, we get the crude oil. It's coming in and it's filling up everything nicely and neatly. And we get some heavy oil residue and some polymer resin. And we get the preferred amount of each now, rather than taking 6 cubic meters of crude oil and turning it into 130 polymer resin and only 20 fluid. So yeah, it's working, and it's putting all of the heavy oil residue over here, where it gets combined with packaged water and turned into diluted packaged fuel, which is just normal fuel, honestly. But it doubles the fuel. Like, it basically replaces the heavy oil residue and just takes the water and turns it into 2 fuel. So you double that quite nicely. And it seems to be working here. Then it gets put all over here. And, oh right, yes, let's fly for a little bit. I put in 2 buffers here, and they seem to be holding up. And basically the problem that I was having was that these here and these here weren't actually emptying properly. So they were all full, or nearly full, and thus it couldn't like take in more of these, I guess. And anyway, it was a bit of a mess to figure out what the problem was, but I fixed it temporarily with this very weird contraption here, filling these up. And I realized I should probably have had like a fluid buffer in each of like these sections. For the water here, for the fuel here, for the heavy oil residue over there, for water there, and fuel here, and fuel there, I think. And I also combined both of these rubber, I almost said rubber bands, but that's not quite what they are, into this, so it goes through the system at a nice little pace. And like there's no real congestion anywhere there, but it's still not like optimal. I'm not a fan of it, honestly. But we're getting about 300 plastics per minute and not quite as many rubbers, or maybe we do. I really should install that counter mod that you can put on top of belts to count just how many things are moving through per minute. But anyway, and then this little contraption here is basically just a balancer that makes sure that these are properly balanced. I mean, they can't be because everything is in one line, but as well as it can, and also these are acting as buffers naturally. And yeah, but then the water is coming here and going through this little balancer here, which not really a fan of. One, it doesn't really feel like it's balancing things. Not properly, anyway. But, that might just be me. And we get the water coming in here, goes straight in, and then that water goes all the way over here to be combined with the polymer resin into rubber. That gets added to this, that creates plastic, goes over here, and then some of the plastic also goes into here to be converted into rubber. That, yeah, this entire thing, like, it works, but it's a mess. Like, I'm not entirely happy with it, but like I said, it works, and it creates about 300 per minute, theoretically. Not entirely sure if it actually does or not, but theoretically it should. And then we have one, or rather I should say 5 of these, turned into 300 fuel that goes into these 20 fuel generators. And I added a little buffer here as well, which looks weird now that I look at it, but it works, so I'm happy. And there is one thing that has me concerned, and that's this. There have been moments where it's been just a straight line, by the way, and that's been very, like, satisfactory to see, honestly. But yeah, this doesn't, like, I was hoping to use this to solve my energy crisis back at the main base, and that's clearly not going to happen. Like, I'm creating 3,000 megawatts per hour, but I'm also using 2,600 of those megawatts, which is not ideal. So yeah, I'm gonna have to solve this another way. On the other hand, there is one other thing I could try, and that is another recipe here. Turbo fuel. It's a lot more potent than normal fuel that we have here, and yeah, but it takes compacted coal. So let's actually go. Yeah, you're still using that, good, because I don't want to create a mishap here. So let's go into Refinery and just look at it more closely. Turbo fuel takes 22.5 fuel per minute and 15 compacted coal per minute and turns it into 18.8 turbo fuel per minute. Now, one of the problems there is the compacted coal, which we have down here. It's an alternate recipe that you have to get through the MAM. There's no way to unlock it through unlocking tiers, etc. And it takes 25 coal and 25 sulfur and turns it into 25 compacted coal. Sulfur is the big problem. There we go. Just run a little scan. Yeah, it's nowhere near where we are. It's, I believe, like 2 kilometers that way, I think, is the nearest one, which is the one I've tapped for my main base that we see all the way over there. And there we go. 2,000 meters, or 2 kilometers. There's probably one over there as well. Oh, 2.6, 2.7, I think that says. Yeah, it's very far away. And we also have a problem with coal here. Yeah, there's... I think the closest one is actually 2 kilometers that way too. Also at the main base. Oh no, it's only a kilometer. And then we get the ones at the base, I think. Yeah, so there's no convenient coal or sulfur. On the other hand, sulfur is a problem just overall in this map. Well, this is the only map we have, so in the map. In that there are only, I believe, 9 sulfur nodes on the entire map. And only 3 of them are pure. And then there's... No, there's 11, actually. Sorry, I miscounted there. There are 11 nodes. 3 of them are pure, 7 are normal, and then 1 is impure. So you really need to be careful with what you're spending them on. But I think power... you know what? Never mind. Sulfuric acid is going to be a thing later on, where you combine it with water, I believe, and then you have to use that in processing aluminium. So yeah, not entirely sure if it's a good idea to make a massive fuel generator farm. Well, I kind of have to, because I don't want to use coal generators. They're just too much trouble with the water and everything. So what I can do right now is use that one belt of sulfur I have, turn that into compacted coal, and then train it all the way over here, while I'm also like picking up the plastics and the rubber and the quick wire that we can kind of see all the way over there, and turn that all the way over to the main base. Might have a throughput issue, but if I put in a massive amount of fuel buffers, shouldn't be too bad, theoretically speaking. And as for the numbers involved, so normal fuel burns at about takes 4 seconds to burn through one fuel, let's just say. And it takes 13.333 repeating to burn through one turbo fuel. That's a massive difference. That's 3 times as low. That's not how you say it. Takes 3 times as long, or over 3 times actually. But either way. And, well, basically, there's a lot of math here on this notepad, but in short, if I have a pipe of 300 normal fuel and I want to turn it into turbo fuel, it will mix with... Why don't I have that written down here? Oh well, it'll mix with a lot of sulfur, basically a belt of sulfur, and turn that into 250 cubic meters of turbo fuel. 250. That's enough for 55 fuel generators. This thing here is 20. 55, that's going to give me 8,250 megawatts. That's a lot. Like, this creates 3, sorry. And I can basically more than double that by just turning in, like, making that line we have over there, turning it into turbo fuel. Sure, we're gonna lose a little bit of that, because I'm gonna have to put up 13.33 more refineries to deal with it. And also, actually, am I using compacted coal for something right now? I feel like maybe I am. What can I be using that for? Let's see. Nothing there, I don't think. Oh, yeah, that's probably it. I decided to use it to double the black powder. That's a waste. Because... oh, no, that's the one we want. No, stop. Kinda wish you could click it, but not, like, go into. So yeah, sulfur 2, and then 1 compacted coal, which takes 5 sulfur. So you're already losing a ton there, just to double the output of fine black powder, which you really only need for nobelisks and the cartridges for your rifle. Let's see, can we? Nope. Right. And this takes just 1 coal and then 2 sulfur. I think that's actually a lot better. Also, thank you for the... disabled that, actually. Gameplay and done. It's too distracting. I mean, it's good that... I mean, it let me deduce that all of these, like, really massive lag spikes, or graphical lag spikes if you want, frame dips, yes, let's call them frame dips, were thanks to the autosave. So good for that, but Yeah. So if I make one belt of compacted coal and get it over here via a train, that should be good, I think. But I'm also not very... Let's move that. I'm also not very happy with the way this works. I think I was a little bit naive to make it this way. Like, if we look down here, yeah, these are starved of, like, well, not really, but kind of. I think we can do this a lot better. And the same goes for this. Like, why did I elevate it so high? Basically, like, virtually guaranteeing that I would have to put a pump in. And also, these things are a little bit too tight. And these ones over here, like, used the... are suffering from the bug I mentioned in... Can we actually see that? No, I actually removed it. Good. Yeah, the bug I made a video about where they move when you hold down control. Like, they move a couple of centimeters that way. And I think I can, like, I should have added more room here to allow for proper balancing. But just the fact that I'm putting these in serial is a bigger issue, I think. Works right now, but yeah, I'm not convinced of it. Same thing with this. What happens when these fill up? Because, like, while I've been recording this, it's filled up like double what it was before. Or maybe I was looking at this. Well, they're both the same, so yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna take a couple of hours, possibly days, to redesign this entire thing and account for all of the balancing that needs doing and the proper, like, buffering of basically every input and output, or maybe just inputs. I think that will actually do, because every output becomes an input, basically. So that seems like a very good thing to do. And I'm gonna have to deal with the fuel issue later. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a solid idea for now. So with that out of the way, let's get to it. And we're back, and I thought I should start about here, and I'm a little concerned that this is pumping quite so ferociously just for that, like, 1 or maybe 2 meters, but I'm gonna let it go. It feels like maybe it's actually even exceeding head lift if it's that vigorous. But anyway, this looks kind of similar, except there's 2 floors now, maybe. And I put all of them on stilts as well, just because I do like that. And we have an undercarriage, I guess. Yeah, the oil comes in here, splits into 2, and one goes into a fluid buffer right there, and then a fluid buffer right there, and then just normally. And then they connect there. And the outputs are more or less just as simple. Go down and under here, and then down and under here for out. And then you bus all of these polymer resin to the left. I'm not a fan of that being congested, but oh well. Hopefully it's not because I put them in the wrong, like put in the wrong recipe or something like I did last time. And then the heavy oil residue is going here to the right. And if we go upstairs, it looks a lot cleaner now. One, I can look down on the mess I've created, which feels very nice. And everything here looks clean. like almost immaculate. Let's see, how are you doing? Almost full, that's very nice. Although that means you guys might have been well, certainly not, but you are definitely full of that. So let's go see what that's about first. Now we can go down to death. Oh, no. Let's take a little, yeah, no. A little shortcut. I need to fix the railing, apparently. There we go. Gets put into this, which is full. Let's solve it in the short term. And then we have water coming in over here in a nice little bend. And it's filling up nicely, both into a fluid buffer and then into the other ones. And if we look at this buffer here, it's not straight, but fine. We have things going in here, and then it gets, you know, actually balanced before it goes into the refineries. And, like, it's not a proper... Well, actually, this one kind of is. In that the last one puts it all back into the system again for another rebalance. But if we're all full, that's a concern. The outputs are on this side. Okay, so the problem is that this is all full. And you guys need nothing. No, you're full too. Okay. Let's go. We have 2 belts coming here. And we have one coming in here, good. And then we have the 2, do we? Yeah, these 2 going in here. And one goes straight over there, and the other one goes in here into another buffer that we can clear. Ow. Just to make sure that everything should be working. And again, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. And this one doesn't need a rollback into the system because there's, I think there should be 8 here. And there's 9 in the other one. But I really like this idea of having, like, a floor beneath where you can do all of the balancing and routing of everything you need, and put in overflow protectors, etc. Yeah, it feels kind of nice. And let's go back now and see what happens over here. No, still kind of congested. What were you doing? Oh, well. Yeah, and it's not perfect, apparently. I hadn't actually noticed this, and it's been running for quite a while. Let's check the power over here. It's pretty high, but also kind of scraggly, if I do say so myself. Unlike the other one that was just like almost a straight line. Anyway, we have some walkways across here as well, and they're see-through, which is probably not good for my computer, but oh well. And we have packaged fuel. That's a very long lead up for the first one, but oh well. We're getting the heavy oil residue into 2 of these buffers, and then into these together with the water that's coming in here. And it too is balanced. But it's balanced over 13, I think. So there's no way to make it perfectly balanced. So I think this one is theoretically going to get a little bit more than everyone else, but I can live with that, honestly. And then again, the output's routed down here and going all the way into the wall. And we have a balancer right here where they come in here from the left and they come in here from the right, and they get split into this one that goes into that merger, and then gets split in here and into that merger, and then of course there as well as there. It should theoretically balance everything over a minute, and then buffers naturally. And we get a lot of packaged fuel. That's going in here and getting into basically the same setup here with a balancer and then a buffer. So everything there is good. And I do really like that you can just walk through it without having to jump over pipes and belts and whatnot. And again, balanced. I just said I don't need to do that, but oh well. Balanced here and balanced on the other side as well. And that's a lot of packaged fuel. In fact, you know what? Now that I actually have it, let's pick up 2. And I can fly! Look upon no hands! Right. And then we get these these empty containers. Ton of them, actually. And the water's like coming in from the next one and goes just through this entire thing, untouched into the previous section. And we get, yeah, not entirely happy with this, like the way I've done this here, but wait, what? That feels off. Something's wrong here. 5 of them should be going. Oh, what? Oh, right, yes, it's, I'm dumb. Or, no, forgetful. Just forgetful, not dumb. Although I probably am dumb as well. Yeah, these, I had a problem with the throughput. Like this one over here, this refinery up here, would refuse to empty completely. There we go. And so I had to like put it into this as well. So it's emptying in this direction all the way over here, and then going this way, and then to the right. And you can see there's no connection between those two there or there. And then I have 2 here, 2 here going into the middle pipe, and then 5 of those going into this pipe, and then they share because they're going basically the same place. So they go to the left here, and again I had to empty them in 2 places, connect them again into there, where they go to that one and that one. And as for this one over here, a lot of walking here, but I really like the look of this now. If there was one thing I would change, it would be that I would move the entire complex, half one of these to the right, so that I could have empty like glass ones in this section, because it's like 4. Like a glass section would fit perfectly in between here. But no, I decided to be symmetrical, so oh well. And another thing right here. Let's see, organization, I believe, fence. I can put a fence there, or I can put a fence there. there's no half fence that I can put there and there. So here here's a falling damage right there. Falling hazard, sorry. Same thing there, same thing there. Yeah, you get the idea, I hope. Anyway, we get 300 fuel going in here and putting a pump so it doesn't flow back again, because that was a problem for a bit. And this is full, and all of these are running. And I do hope I actually remembered to disconnect that pipe on the other side of that wall as well. Hopefully. And like I said, it's a little scraggly. It's a little up and down compared to the other one. But I think that might be a teething problem. And I think the main problem is actually that I'm not using as much fuel in the fuel generators as I should be. So these are not emptying properly, or a number of these aren't at any rate. So we don't get as many empty canisters going in here. And in fact, how are you doing here? Fairly decent, but this is emptying as quickly as it is getting filled, so it's not really working as a buffer right now. Same thing here, I suspect. Yeah, there are gaps in there. And that's actually not a problem, honestly. Like, it's a problem for my, like, OCD, because I wanted a flat line. Not a flat line, but a... Never mind. And it's not actually a problem, because it means this fuel isn't getting used as much as it should. Neither is this, nor this. So it's pretty much okay, I guess. I still don't like that it does that. Like that all belts do that. But, I mean, what can you do? Except to reprogram it. And then for now, like just right now, the plastic is just going into that, and the rubber is going into that. And yeah. Also, I wonder if I can make it over there. I can make it there, and then I can make it over here. While I was building all of this, I also, let's see, how, not that many apparently, nor that, but yeah, I have a little bit of a stockpile of packaged fuel that I should probably take with me to the base, actually. Oh, I can just do that. Feels good, feels good. And let's fly again. Like, it looks a lot cleaner, and thanks to the, like these, you can look into it, look down, and see everything, if it's working or not. And just, yeah. Like, this is fairly congested, but that's a good problem to have. That means that they're getting enough packaged fuel. And I believe... yeah, it's also a bit staggered. So these buffers are really working, and that's really good, because that means it's getting enough, like... What? Oh, yes. This is the one that... This is the section that makes the packaged fuel. And because it's getting enough water, and it's also getting enough of the heavy oil residue, everything's working. Let's see. Hold on. Could that be it? Could probably be it. All right, yes. Oh, you. There. Right. That was a bit of an oversight. And don't need you anymore either. You know what? You get to stay. Just for now. If it bothers me later, maybe I'll remove you. Maybe. Or if I forget, that's also fine. Anyway, yes. I wonder how the fuel tower is doing right now. Like, if it's actually empty and this was filling it up. But that also explains why these weren't emptying properly, because they didn't need to. Because this was being fed from two places. And now it should actually be, yeah. Now it should actually use 300 of, like, now it should use that entire pipe, basically. Yeah, pretty massive oversight on my part. Sorry about that. But that's the kind of thing that you're gonna just see when you play Satisfactory. Also, the water extractors. I have 2 water extractors going into the water all the way over there. And then I believe it's 7, yes. Is it? 1, 2, 3, yes. 7. Going into over here. 3, 3, and 200. And then that's going up in over here. And I have put in for 3 more floors, but I also made this in case I want to use this place that has so many rooms for activities, I guess. So much room for activities is, I think, the proper quote. But I also don't want to ruin this view. You know? You can see the boundary still, right next to the death zone. But yeah. And like the first build I made here had the water extractors be overclocked. That is not actually a very good idea, generally speaking, because when you overclock something, the power requirement rises exponentially. So if you put in 250%, it's not going to use 250% energy. It's going to use something like, I believe, 400 or 500, also save. So yeah, it's not ideal. And then we have this little building here that pumps the water up, because I realized I didn't want to put the pumps on the belts here, because then you see them through the floor, and that's quite ugly. And then we have this pump room here. And there's only this one working, and oh boy, yeah, no, yeah, you're, well, I guess that's kind of explainable, but I should probably put a pump right there. Hello. Yeah, pump right there will solve that problem. Actually, can I still fly? Yes. I don't know. Maybe it's pumping 300, maybe it's not. But that's kind of overworked. How about this one in here? Thank you. 14.3. Perfectly acceptable. So yeah, that's where I am right now, and I really like these, especially since they're so reflective. And also, I put in these slanted ones just to give a little bit more of a look to them, sort of. Yeah. I'm happy with it, kind of. There are issues here and there that I want to address, but that can wait, I think. Maybe, possibly. Water shouldn't be a problem. But it is. I am betting that's... Oh, I already have the circuit for the pumps here, so that's good. Yeah. Anyway, I've been babbling on and on and on for quite a while. Also, I noticed another thing here. This is not a good idea. This is not best practice when it comes to fueling the fuel generators. The way I had it before, where there were one line going in here and then another line going in here and then having them meet up, is probably a lot better. Because this one over here is probably going to get starved eventually. Maybe, potentially, possibly. I am worried about it. And I haven't seen a single red one of these in quite a while. And we don't have any yellow ones either. So that's good. But clearly, because the power was going up and down so much, it does mean... Oh, well, no, I've solved that already with these not actually putting 300 in here, because I didn't need to, because that tower was doing half the work. Probably. Yeah, but now I'm starting to repeat myself over and over and over again, so what's next? Well, not entirely sure, honestly. I'm going to put a roof on this thing, of course. These fumes are worrying me, obviously, but oh well. I'm wearing a mask right now in-game, so... Helmet, actually, but... So, I hope I will be fine. And put a roof on it, and then put some stilts on that roof, and prepare for floor 2. That was a weird way to pronounce 2, but fine. And then the question is, am I fine with just putting 300 into a train, or do I want to put 600 in a train? I probably want to put 600, which means 2 floors of plastic and rubber production going into the train. And then floor 3 and 4 will be only fuel production, I think. But then again, I forget how much compacted coal I need for that. I think one belt is probably fine, or one 480 belt, which is what I can make right now. Conveyor belts 480, yeah. I think one 480 belt is enough for 300 fuel, potentially. And then I'm gonna have to make some choices. Probably I'm gonna have to dedicate some of the sulfur and coal over at my starting location. I believe there is a normal sulfur and a pure coal there that I can use to maybe make some more compacted coal. Possibly, I don't know. I'm kind of at my wit's end about that. There's also a lot of sulfur over there, like past that biome and to the right. If you watched my earlier season of the Let's Play, or the first season of the Let's Play series I'm making, then basically it's next door to my attempted second base on the cliff face. That's a good place to get sulfur. There are normal nodes, I think 2 of them there, and a bunch of coal. And also a bunch of oil, now that I think about it. But I don't really want to leave my comfort zone right now. Not when there's still so many things to unlock. Like, I still haven't done quartz. I still haven't moved the plastic and rubber and quick wire to the main base yet. So I need to start building a train station over there for that. And then, like, get that train station connected all the way over here. And that's also another section, another question, sorry. Another section of a question, actually, and that is, do I want to combine these into one massive train station? Where I can have one train coming with the sulfur or coal and compacted coal from there in here, and then also a separate train that goes back to the base, just to get the throughput of like rubber, plastic and quick wire to not be as bad as it would be if I had the train go here, then there, then back here, then there, and then back again. On the other hand, the compacted coal would get kind of double then, because it would come here with compacted coal and then pick up all of the things over here. Also, oh yeah, I haven't even been thinking about packaged fuel. If I get this converted into turbo fuel, then probably the second floor is going to be just packaged fuel into the train. Probably. Potentially. Not that I know any recipes that you can automate that require fuel that isn't like already fuel and turbo fuel. Also, packaged turbo fuel might be a good thing to automate as well. Maybe... No, I'm thinking ahead of everything right now. So yeah, but again, as I said, compacted coal coming here, and then going over there to pick up that compacted coal and putting it in here. Maybe. Maybe. Anyway, that's gonna have to do it for today, I believe. Like, the next... Like, I'm already late with this video, and I kind of want to just get the videos to be out more or less consistently. This time it was Halo 3's fault, honestly, because that review, it took a lot of effort and the footage got corrupted several times, so I had to redo basically everything several times, and it wasn't pleasant. And recording the B-side footage, or the B-roll as it's known, basically meant having to finish the game several times because the originals were corrupted. Yeah. But oh yes, that's actually a pretty major issue now that I think about it. The last couple of weeks, you may have noticed that there have been a lot of like artifacts in my videos. Things like they looked like compression artifacts, essentially, and I'm going to put in a few clips of it happening in this video, just so you know what to look for. Yeah, it took me 2 weeks to solve that, but I have solved it, I think, I hope. It turns out my router, like, just the way I solved it is kind of mind-boggling, because at first I thought like my capture card was on the fritz, but I like ruled that out by basically running my own like output, my monitor, through it. So the preview that I was seeing was what I was actually recording, and there was not a single artifact in sight. But then when I edited the footage, artifacts. And well, to make a very long story just a tiny bit shorter, it was my network, of all things. Like, it wasn't OBS, like the settings in OBS having been messed with that caused it, but my network. When I started using an Ethernet cable rather than Wi-Fi to copy it, that's when the problem started. And I didn't clock that until, well, much later, when I copied a file accidentally. Sorry, I trapped myself with the sentence structure there. I copied the same file several times, and it had compression artifacts in different parts of the video. That's when I realized that it can't be OBS, it can't be when I recorded, it can't be anything other than the network. And basically my router was 10 years old and on its last leg, and also didn't have gigabit Ethernet, so that's a thing. So yeah, it was just slow, and like the protocols it was using weren't up to par with the file sizes that I was moving. But I mean, some files that I edit are like 6 or up to 32 gigabytes large, especially if I'm doing time lapse. And so yeah, a bit of an issue, honestly. And I solved it by not using that router anymore, basically. And hopefully it's not going to be an issue anymore. If it is, I'm not going to keep a safety copy on the recording computer at every time, at all times, until I'm done with the video. Until I'm absolutely sure there are no compression artifacts, then I'm going to delete it. So yeah, I have put safety measures in place to stop that from happening again, so to speak. Wow, it looked like it was going the wrong way there. But yeah, and with that, like I'm pretty sure this will have to do for today. So yeah, with that, ladies, gentlemen, and you beautiful in-betweens, I've been Calmputer. This has been Satisfactory. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.